Welcome back to the channel. I am Hayden, and today I'm going to show you how to increase your camera quality on both the C920 and my Canon EOS M50. We'll be talking about things like exposure, frame rates, contrast, white balance, shutter speeds, and color correction. I'll show you how to set these on the Logitech C920 as well as my camera. And before we talk about anything I mentioned, we need to define exposure and know the purpose it serves. Exposure is the amount of light in which reaches the camera sensor. It's a crucial part on deciding how bright or dark your image is going to be. And now that we defined exposure, I'll start off by showing you guys how to make the C920 look 20 times better, if not 100 times better. Out of the box, the C920 has a very bright and unsaturated image. First step to making this look better is to go into OBS and we're going to change some device properties. We're going to click on the C920 in our sources. We're going to select properties and configure video. This will give us the device's base properties. The first step we're going to do is uncheck all the auto boxes except for white balance. Leave this alone as it's tough to understand and hard to get right if you don't know what you're doing. This will also vary setup to setup depending on what kind of lighting you use compared to what other people use. The next thing we'll adjust is contrast and saturation. With contrast, we'll be adjusting the difference in colors to add depth and separation between you and your backdrop. Doing this is going to cause a loss in color, and to fix this, we're just going to add a little bit of saturation back to the image. Adding too much saturation back to your image is going to overcolor it, make it look non-professional and super unclean. In this menu, we can also adjust our zoom, focus, and exposure, but we're just going to leave that alone for now. Now, if you can't get your C920 to look the exact way you want it to look, we can go into filters in OBS and add into a color correction, and that'll give us some more added benefits of using some extra contrast, saturation, and brightness. And the last thing we're going to do with the C920 is make sure our resolution and our FPS are set correctly. The base resolution for a Logitech C920 is 1920 by 1080 at 30 FPS. Now we'll move on to my Canon EOS M50. Now this will vary between camera manufacturers as well as mirrorless and DSLR cameras. As with the C920, most cameras have auto settings for pretty much everything that you're going to want to change. And again, the only thing we're not going to change here is our white balance. Now if your camera has a clean HDMI out, use the best autofocus that your camera has available. First, we'll adjust our shutter speed and aperture. Shutter speed is the length of time that the camera shutter is open, exposing light to the sensor. You want to set your shutter speed typically to 2 times your target FPS. So in the case of 30 FPS, you'll want to set it to 1 over 60. And in 60 FPS, you'll want to set it to 1 over 125. Now when setting your aperture, you'll want the lowest aperture that's available at your current zoom. Most standard kit lenses that come with cameras are 3.5 to 6.3. And like I said, the more you zoom in, the higher your minimum value is going to be. Your camera will only allow so much of a focal length. Now the final thing we're going to adjust is our ISO. ISO is an artificial light that your camera uses to brighten up your image. Your aim should be to stay under 1600. The higher your ISO, the more noise and artificial light that your camera is going to put into your image. So the better your lighting is, the lower you can keep this number and not add noise into your image. Now if you enjoyed this video and the info that I shared, make sure to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next couple videos coming out. And if you want to leave a comment down below with any questions that you have, I'll make sure to answer them as soon as I see them. And last, if you want to join the Discord for any immediate help and more help beyond that, or just to hang out, the link is down in the description below. As always, stay safe and I'll see you in the next one.